Today, I wanted to talk about, actually ask you a question. Now, I know you can't answer me, so I want you to think about this. But how many photographs do you have around your house of your family or even your friends? Are they 8 by 10s? Are they wall art? Are they in an album? How many of them are of you? Do you celebrate milestones in your life with photographs, for example? Now, there can be many reasons why people don't have photographs in their home. For example, my parents like to collect art. Not big, fancy, expensive stuff, but things that were made by local artists. And we had those hanging on the wall. Yet after my mother and father had passed, I found that there was a photograph of their wedding tucked away in the closet. I don't ever remember seeing that out. Now, we changed houses, so it's possible it was at the previous house. We came up to Vermont when I was entering high school. So it's possible it got packed and just never got put out, but I don't ever remember seeing it. And it was a little 8 by 10 and very, very old. My father was born in 17, my mother was born in 20, so they were very old pictures, probably around the 40s. But that was what they had. Other than having slides, which they did take pictures of where they were and things and put them into slide format, all we had on our walls was art. Now, it's not something I ever questioned at the time, but the question would come, why? Now, I know for some people it's going to be, well, it's expensive. Well, okay. Why is that a problem? Are you concerned that you have to have the money up front? Perhaps there's a way you could work with a photographer and not have to pay everything up front. Maybe it's the way you look. I had a friend who recently told me that, oh no, they can't have photographs done yet. Yet can turn into never very easily. So the question I have is, well, why? What are you waiting for? Even if the photo isn't for yourself, even if it's to give to a loved one, why are you waiting? What is the root why? So don't just go with a simple, well, it's expensive. Why is that a problem? Well, I'm not sure that my job is stable right now. Why is that? Keep going until you can find a bottom, if you will. It's very easy in a superficial world to just go with the top level. If you watch any media at all and they're asking somebody a question, you'll notice that a lot of times they just stop at whatever answer they get. It's very rare that you see them say, wait a minute, wait, that's not a good answer, and drill down. So we're raised in a society currently where things are just said on a superficial level without any real depth to or thought to the underlying issue. And part of that, I believe, is social media based, but part of it goes back to text messaging. How many times do you expect an immediate response on a text? Or the media itself has a fixed amount of time in which to do their segments, right? They come in, they do their segment, there's a commercial, they do a segment, there's a commercial, they do a segment. They have a limited amount of time in traditional media to get things done. And I don't think that gives itself well to the thought of what's going on. You're asked a question and you come back with an immediate response because you feel you have to, rather than, that's an interesting question. Let me think about it for a moment or two. Let me give a more in-depth answer than would be suggested by just a simple, well, let me just answer this question right now type of response. And I think that happens in a lot of things in our lives. So what I'm asking you to do is to actually drill down and see what it is that would prevent you. Let's say, for example, because we're going into New Year's soon, I know I usually put a time on these podcasts, but New Year's is coming up. People are going to be making New Year's resolutions, and a lot of people are going to say, I want to go work out. Okay? Well, what if you recorded that journey? It does two things. First, it lets you see your progress from an outside perspective, right? You see yourself in the mirror every single day, but to have a picture of what you look like when you start and a picture of what you look like in a month or 2 months or every quarter, so that you can compare what I looked like then versus what I look like now, gives you some validation that you're on the right path, or shows that you need to do something different. As you hit certain milestones, what if you took pictures? What if your goal was at the end to create an album of your journey to not only remind yourself of where you started and what you could achieve, but to show to other people that they could do it too? And a lot of it comes down to, what do we do to celebrate us? You could go to a spa, right? You could take that money and spend it on a massage or a hot stone treatment. Go get a facial, get your nails done, go get your hair done differently, get your hair colored. But all of those things are short term. Having a piece of art on your wall is not. It's something that you're going to have for years and years. And even if you don't want to put it on your wall, even if you want to go more an album format, you're still going to have something for years and years. And if you want to redo it again later on, you can. But you have something longer term than just something as simple as a massage or a spa day. Part of it is, how do you want to celebrate yourself? And I think part of it is self-confidence. Just being able to get in front of a camera and have pictures taken can be a daunting experience for some people. The more outgoing you are, possibly, the easier it is for you to put yourself in front of the camera, which may be true. But that doesn't prevent you from doing it yourself. Again, the final output is going to be seen by whoever you choose to see it. Obviously, the photographer will see it as it's being made, and we'll see the final product before it goes off to be made into whatever artwork it's going to be. But it's still basically just you. And to me, having photographs is a way of celebrating. It's a way of memorializing yourself and seeing how far you've come on your journey so far. It doesn't mean your journey's over. It doesn't mean there won't be other things to celebrate later on. It doesn't mean that you won't want to do this all over again. But think about how you want to celebrate yourself and how you want to see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Artwork, if kept up, can last 20 years. So you're going to have this to look back on 20 years from now. If it's an album and the album is put away, it could last a lot longer than that. From the perspective that it's usually things like sunlight that fade things, or humidity that might work away at the coloring. That picture that my folks had from the 40s needed to be restored. But let's think about this. I found that, we'll say 2020, 80 years approximately after it was taken, and it was still a viable photograph, allowing me to see what they looked like on their wedding day. True, I needed to fix it a little bit, but considering the image itself, I'm not 100% sure that it wasn't the quality of the original photograph that I was having a problem with, and not what time had done to it. But in any event, I hope that you find a way to celebrate yourself, celebrate your loved ones. Maybe you take a series of photographs that were taken over several Christmases or several Thanksgivings with all the family gathered together, and put it together in an album and give it to your parents. Whatever you want to do to celebrate yourself, or to give that bit of celebration and love to somebody else, why don't you do it? And that's the question I got for you this week. And I thank you guys, and I will talk to you guys all next week.